Welcome back to another episode of Shreveport Connection with Tommy, but you already knew that. Okay, this is going to be about TNA wrestling news for the week. TNA wrestling superstar Hulk Hogan made a surprise appearance on last week's American Idol results show. Following the segment from the Idol Mansion concerning contestant James Durbin's professional wrestling fanship, which featured the finalist doing an imitation of the WWE superstar The Miz, Hogan appeared in person to inform him that he was safe from elimination and made it into the top 10. Hogan then told Ryan Seacrest that he wasn't safe and threw a worked punch at him, with the Idol host pretending to be knocked out. Hogan then tore off his shirt while Durbin cut a wrestling style ending. Okay, Matt Hardy was denying that he is engaged to married Lucha Libre USA star, Masked Warriors personality Reby Sky, a former Playboy model. He claims that it was a joke. Well, okay, to set the record straight, on June 17th is a 6-month anniversary of they are as a couple, and we joked around getting married, which some peeps took very seriously, he wrote. And besides, I probably wouldn't ever be able to marry someone as beautiful, lovely, sweet, wonderful, and talented as Reby Sky anyways. Sky was asked on her Form Spring account if she was marrying Hardy, and she replied yes, with no hint of joking, including the wedding date, and the message since has been deleted, and she is now saying that she is not engaged. RVD stated the following today, or a few days ago, on Twitter regarding Drew Carey's pending induction to the Hall of Fame. Drew Carey gets inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame. Man, I'm glad I'm not a WWE wrestler. Lucha Libre USA, Masked Warriors personality Reby Sky, formerly revealed on her account when we did that. The two have been dating since January. Angelina Pivarnik of Jersey Shore fame is training to be a wrestler at the Independent Wrestling Federation, IWF, in Woodland Park, New Jersey. The word within TNA Wrestling is that the company is not paying her to train. Talent are under the impression that she is being trained for free in exchange for the wrestling school receiving notoriety, which is run by Kevin Knight. One TNA source stated that she's been warned to not expect to receive anything close to the normal $7,000 payoff she received for appearing at last month's Impact tapings in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It is believed that Mickie James suffered a slightly separated shoulder during a match against Madison Rayne at last Friday's TNA Wrestling Live event in Jacksonville, Florida. According to the Observer, or an observer, Rayne botched the spot which led to the injury. James appeared at last night's show in Savannah, being last Saturday's show, in Savannah, Georgia, with her shoulder in a sling. She acknowledged the injury on her Twitter account, writing, I'm a one-wing sling. I'm in a one-wing sling and still kicking, doing the same damn thing. LOL, with a smile. Hulk Hogan thanked fans for last Thursday's Impact, again drawing great numbers. Thank you, TNA Maniacs, for the great numbers again this week. Slowly but surely we're getting bigger. He wrote on Twitter, much love from Hulk Hogan. TNA World Heavyweight Champion Sting celebrated his 52nd birthday on 3/21, and being his birthday year 1959, which is also my wife's birthday, and she turned 36. And happy birthday, belated. This is a week later. TNA Wrestling has live events scheduled for Friday, May 13th at the Monroe Civic Center in Monroe, Louisiana, and Saturday, May 14th at the Jackson Convention Complex in Jackson, Mississippi. Tickets for both events go on sale Friday, April 1st via Ticketmaster. I have recently contacted Mick Foley. He is in contact with Jeremy Borash, who does the bookings for most of the events for the house shows. The last appearance that they did here in Shreveport, Bossier City area was 4 years ago. He was not informed of that. I met Mick Foley in the ring that following week in Alexandria, Louisiana, and we briefly talked about the T Nation and what have you. And being that T Nation is a ripoff, the guy has been using his best friends on his YouTube account, MySpace account, and what have you, giving all the freebies to them. Well, anyways, back to the other news. Scott Steiner's contract is expiring in a few weeks. As yet, there is no word on if he is interested in re-signing or TNA is interested in re-signing him as a main event Mafia member, but they're putting him heavily in the storylines for TV. So obviously they're doing something. Steiner is a multi-time world champion, and he, like I said, he returned to wrestling on January 27th, edition of Impact, saving Kurt Angle, Matt Morgan, and Crimson from attack by Mortal. Well, in the recent tapings, Steiner is tag teaming with Amazing Red's cousin, Crimson. And Steiner has been used sparingly since then. Like when they did the tapings 2 weeks ago, he was in one of the episodes. That was last week. As tag team match, like I just said, with Crimson last week's Impact tapings. However, it appears to have been cut from the final edit, which he was on there. It would appear that TNA re-signed Scott Steiner for a short-term contract, probably in association with the rumored main event Mafia reunion. Has no further plans to retain its services, since obviously Kevin Nash has something to do with WWE and WrestleMania. He's throwing a WrestleMania party, which has a new member attending, and it's none other than former TNA star Raven. along joining him is, of course, he probably will have Scott Hall. No mention of him going yet, but according to X-Pac, Sean Waltman, he's going to be there. TNA Shop website is now selling Jeff Hardy's newest theme song, Another Me. Sting vs. Jeff Hardy and Brother Ray vs. Brother Devon is being advertised for Cincinnati. And being that Brother Ray is replacing Jeff Hardy in all events, thus being a storyline for his next court appearance, he might be incarcerated. Okay, and it's also stated for the TNA Lockdown pay-per-view, neither of the matches will be happening after the recent changes they made with Jeff Hardy being sent home storyline. Matches for tonight's TNA for this week, let's see, or the last week, include Terra versus Mickie James, the Pope versus Okada, Hernandez Esteban versus Brother Devon and Matt Morgan in a street fight. That was last week. And plus Mr. Anderson versus RVD and number one contenders match. That was all on last week's show. After separating her shoulder, Mickie James thing, it is expected that Mickie may miss the next set of Impact tapings. How can that be happening? Because they've already did 3 weeks. But we'll still face Madison Rayne for the knockout title at Lockdown. It is expected that Mickie will win the title at the pay-per-view, since the storyline she's going to get her head shaved if she loses. Kurt Angle attended a regional wrestling tournament yesterday, or whichever date it was, in Bemidji, Minnesota. I guess that's how you pronounce. The Olympic gold medalist spoke to over 800 children and teens about proper training and education. Video footage was shown from the website. Former TNA, also, Kurt Angle was arrested over the weekend for an apparent DUI. Well, his reply was that he wasn't drinking and driving due to the ice all over the road. He slid across the road into another lane. He immediately pulled over from there. And that's whenever the policeman came over And they did a sobriety test, which he failed. And then they I'll give a little bit more details as I'm going through my reading for the report. Okay, former TNA talent Raven and Daphne have been announced for a Wrestle Reunion, which takes place Sunday at the Atlanta Marriott, which I believe was yesterday. Okay. Sean Davari, a.k.a. Sheikh Abdul-Bashir, has re-signed with TNA Wrestling. Reports from superluchas.net. The former X Division champion is expected to work this week's Impact tapings in Orlando, Florida, which I did not see anything from the last 3 weeks. Okay, Davari had parted ways with TNA Wrestling in December 2009 after requesting his release from the organization. Since that time, he has appeared for the Ring of Honor and numerous independent promotions. Word that the man who played Mr. Anderson's professor on Thursday's last week's Impact was Florida independent wrestler Dave Johnson. Devin sent the following from Micro Championship Wrestling. Held a TV taping featuring Hulk Hogan on Saturday, March 26, 2011 at Halligan's Restaurant and Bar in Charleston, South Carolina. Micro Championship Wrestling will be holding a TV taping featuring Hulk Hogan on Thursday, March 31st, 2011 at the W. Clyde Hyder Tommy Burke's Agricultural Pavilion in Cookeville, Tennessee. And I believe this is owned by none other than Eric Bischoff. Okay, here's your word on Kurt Angle. TMZ is reporting that TNA star Kurt Angle was arrested Friday morning in North Dakota. I do have a picture of him, which I will show you very shortly. According to the police, the Highway Patrol in Grand Forks, North Dakota, found Angle sitting in his parked car in the median separating the lanes. Angle had reportedly pulled over after hitting an icy patch in the road. Police approached Angle's parked car, smelled alcohol on Angle's breath, and asked him to take a field sobriety test. Angle failed the test and was arrested. Since police did not catch Angle actually driving while under the influence, he was charged with being in control of a motor vehicle while intoxicated. Despite being arrested Friday morning, Kurt Angle wrestled Jeff Jarrett at last night's TNA event in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Regarding the incident that was reported by TMZ, Angle wrote the following on his Twitter. Thank you to my supporters. I was not drunk. I was in an ice storm and my car slid into a 3-foot snow median. I called the police myself for help. They had other plans. I was stuck and wanted to get to my hotel. I was not passed out drunk. I was so coherent. I'm sorry if I let you down. Don't believe everything you read. My life is good. And this is a speed bump in the road. The truth will come out. God bless. I take responsibility. Angle also wrote that his job is to stay clean and never put himself in jeopardy, noting that TMZ blew the story out of proportion and that he would give the real story once his hearing was over, since he deleted that message. And that ends my TNA result report for this week. And stay tuned for later tonight, and you will hear and see WWE results from Raw, partial superstars, and more news surfacing, WrestleMania news, and whatever else I can find. Thank you, and stay tuned.